Hello there. So I almost got through the whole day without doing my vlog post after just yesterday saying I'm going to do a vlog post every day for 30 days. It took me until it's almost 9 o'clock now, 9 p.m. here in Seattle, before I'm posting this. And I'm like, what am I going to do? There's nothing on my mind. I just have to get it out there. And I think I'm gonna go back to just a little bit more of my story. I've done so much. I've lived so many different lives. There's so many little things to go into, and I'm probably going to use that for a lot of my vlog or just posting content, right? But I'm going to give you the broad strokes. So I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, had a nice little family down there, nice country family, and around 11 years old, my mother passed away from ovarian cancer. And that was very traumatic, as you can imagine. And then from that, I was to move to North Carolina to live with my aunt and my uncle and my three younger cousins. So I did that, and that was also very traumatic, as you can imagine. It also wasn't a great environment. It negatively affected me in many, many ways. I wouldn't say that it was necessarily abusive like people would think. It was just a very tough time. I would say sometimes it was a little bit more verbally or emotionally abusive. I can say that now, but it was back then, and I think they were doing the best that they knew how to do, which wasn't very good. I'm not giving them, not letting them off too easy, but it sucked really bad, and it had a huge negative effect on me. I wasn't doing well in school after going through all of that. Go figure. And it was just a very hard time for me. Very hard time for me. And then when it came like senior year, it's like I haven't been doing very good in school. There's not many opportunities in this small town in North Carolina. What am I gonna do? Well, my uncle was in the Army National Guard and had been active duty in the National Guard for a long time there in our small town. So I'm like, all right, well, I'd always been against being in the military, but now I'm just gonna go do it. That is the hardest, easy way out, right? I can get into training, I can start making money, I can move out and do my own things because there's no opportunities here, and I haven't done well in school to get out of here and go to college. So that's what I did. I went into the Army National Guard. If you're not familiar, it's basically the same as going into the Army, except for after training, you only do it 1 weekend a month, and then 2 weeks out of the summer, unless you get deployed, which is what happened to me. Within a year of getting out of training, I went to Iraq. That was also a very traumatic experience. I did IT help desk work and different just kind of tech jobs while I was stationed there. After I came back, I went to massage therapy school, something I always kind of wanted to try out doing. So I thought, why not? I've got some money to help me go back to school, and I've been curious about that. I think I'd be really good at it. I got that sense of touch, I got the magic hands. Let me go ahead and do that. So I did that, and that was great. And then I had to go back overseas. I went to war again. I thought I was just going to Kuwait and I would get to wear my civilian clothes after duty and go to a bunch of concerts and comedy shows, everybody passing through the safe Kuwait zone. And that was the case for about 6 months. And then they sent us to Afghanistan to help kind of clean up some of the stuff that was coming out when we were closing bases. That was terrible. It was a terrible time. I'll go into that maybe in another post, but just terrible time for 6 months. Wasn't that bad. And mind you, on both of these deployments, in Iraq and then in the Afghanistan part, I was doing IT work, so I wasn't, going out on patrols, although I did leave the bases a few times. I wasn't doing anything like that, but we were constantly being bombed. And that was terrible. Um, but it's funny, after the first couple of times you go through that, it's kind of like, oh, well, we heard the boom and we heard the alarm, so we're fine. um, Again, story for another time. But after I came back from that deployment, I wanted a big change. I wanted to really take control of my life and do something a little crazy. So I did some research, found that Seattle, Washington, massage therapists made a good bit of money, more than they did in North Carolina at least. So I packed up my dog and my stuff in my little car, and I drove from North Carolina to Washington State, which was such a transformative drive. One day I might do some content on that as well. But when I got here, I lived on a little farm in Arlington, Washington, did some farm work, did some lumberjack stuff, chopped some wood, and lived in a tent on that farm, and it was just a beautiful time. There were some low points, but for the most part, it was just lovely. And then after about 2 or 3 months, I found a job that allowed me enough money to actually move into Seattle. And so that's what I did. So I moved to West Seattle, and I've been here ever since. That was in 2013. August 2013 is when I moved to Washington. October 2013 is when I moved to West Seattle. And so I lived there and worked on getting my Washington State massage license. I did that, and it was great for a while. I did that for a while. And then, I started thinking I can do more than this. It got a little boring. Rubbing people in dark rooms for hours at a time is not exciting. Very relaxing, not very exciting, and mentally stimulating. I didn't feel like I was being challenged in that, except for physically. Man, that work can get to you. But I was also with who would be my ex-wife at that point, but my girlfriend, my fiance, and my wife. And I wanted to start a family. She had a very educated family and very educated herself and had a great career, and I just kind of felt like I needed to do more. So the boredom of massage and some expectations that I put on myself, I projected them onto my family members. They weren't actually expecting those things out of me. I just thought that's what I needed to do to be good enough for her and her family. Nobody was holding me to those expectations except for me. That's a lesson from hindsight. But it was also really great to test myself and show myself that I wasn't stupid like I thought I was when I was in high school. I was just going through a really rough time and had no support, no safety net, no confidence in myself. So I went through school. There was multiple parts of that. That's a whole post in and of itself as well. But I went through computer science school, got my computer science degree. And then I got a job as a product manager. It was an internship. And then that was internship, product management internship at Unity. And then I worked as a software engineer at General Motors. And then they wanted me to move to Detroit. And so I was like, no. So I got a product management job at Microsoft, and got laid off last year in that. And now I'm a product manager at a small financial IT company that you haven't heard of. And as I went through Microsoft and now this current job, I've been having that feeling that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not really supposed to be in this corporate world, this let's make a product that maximizes profits, or so it doesn't connect with me. It's not the right thing. And so now I'm going through this journey of finding what is the right thing for me. And I have been feeling led to help other people do that because I've got my great ideas. I know what I'm passionate about: self-development and self-actualization and personal growth. Those things are just so big for me, so big. And I want a career that allows me to dig into that and help other people's with it, because I've read so many books and I've had coaching, and I've dedicated a lot of my time, money, and effort into those things, and I can help other people as well. So now I'm exploring that. This was longer than I anticipated. This video is longer than I anticipated it being. But there's no structure, there's no expectations at this point. I don't know if anyone will see this, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just putting it out there. I'm trying something new. The internet knows me now. Maybe, if for nothing else, if my daughter finds these videos when she gets older, then she can know me a little bit better. And you know what? That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching.